Hey, hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. Hope you're all doing really well out there. And yeah, welcome to this first of a kind episode here on my channel, because I'm going to mention something that I don't think I ever mentioned before for some reason, and that is vinyl community, or VC as some call it. Yeah, I always consider myself being part of kind of the vinyl community. I use the tags, but I never really introduced myself. So here we go. Dear vinyl community, hey, hello. My name is Tobias, and I'm originally from Sweden. I'm living in the UK now since many years back. And I started out this channel because I have a true passion for music, and I've always been collecting music. So I wanted to connect with like-minded people, people who were as passionate as me when it comes to music, and perhaps listening to the same kind of music that I do. So that's why I started out this channel, and I made a lot of really nice connections through this channel, so I'll just hope it continues. Nice to meet you. This was brought along from a conversation that I had with a very dear friend of mine, Jen from Jen's Addiction. She took part in a video follow-up, or a response video as it was, to another fellow YouTuber called Rob Walker, who also has a YouTube channel talking about music, about the latest hauls that he picked up and so forth and so on. And he celebrated, I think 2 weeks ago now, his 200th video or episode, or call it what you want. And so congratulations, Rob. And for that episode he did present his 30 favorite 12-inch singles, and they were all Manchester related, with Manchester related bands from that area. And I thought it was really great. I've been watching some of Rob's videos for quite a while now, and I just realized this week I haven't subscribed to him. So now I am subscribed. I'm so sorry, Rob. I liked quite a lot of your videos, but for some reason I was never subscribed. I just missed it. I don't know how I could. So there you see how easy it is to miss. So some shameless self-promotion here. If you really like what you're seeing here, consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing as well. It's free. It's just a push of a button, and it gives me and all other YouTubers that you are following and subscribing to a bit of motivation, a bit of a push as well to do even more and do even better. It's a kind of a recognition, really, and I love connecting with more people that have the same kind of interest in music that I have, so we can have those kind of discussions, or those kind of connections that I had, for example, with Jen not long ago when she reached out to me through my channel. She has an excellent channel called Jen's Addiction, not Jane's Addiction, Jen's Addiction, where she talks about all things music, sometimes horror movies, sometimes comics, all of the good things. So go over to her channel, subscribe and like and all of that, and of course the same for Rob Walker's channel as well. I'm gonna have the links to both channels down in the description. Yeah, so that's how I got hooked to this, because Jen did a response video to Rob's video where she presented some of her favorite 12-inch singles, and we spoke after that, and she said, I bet you have a lot of 12-inch singles, and I would love to see an episode like that from you. So here it is. This is my response video to Rob Walker's VC thread kind of thing. Yeah. And it's going to be great. I love 12-inch singles. I always have. I probably have more 12-inch singles in my collection than I have albums, really. I love that format. You get your favorite single in a blown-up format with some extra mixes, some extensions, and all of that. So it's just great stuff. So yeah, I'm going to do this. But I'm not going to go through my favorite ones at the moment being. No, I narrow it down to 2 years, 1989 and 1990. So it's 30 12 inches divided over those 2 years. So it's 15 for 89 and 15 for 90. And why those 2 years, you might say? Well, it's very interesting years for me because back then I was coming from the 80s, you know, with the pop and the synth pop, one leg in that camp. And then this new thing was starting to happening with acid house, Chicago house, and all of that. And I loved it. A brand new horizon was was opening up for me when it came to music. So I had another foot in that camp. So there was so much things happening. It was a chaotic and fantastic time. So without any further ado, let's get cracking, because I got all the 12-inch singles here. So let's go through them. And we'll start out, like I said, with 1989, and in no particular order, because all of these are great to me, right? So I'm just going to pick the top one here on the pile of records. And that happens to be the Beatmasters featuring Betty Boo, or with Betty Boo, as it says here. And this is the first appearance of Betty Boo on vinyl on any format, if I'm not mistaken. This is how I discovered Betty Boo. And I think also the Beatmasters, to be honest. I don't think I ever heard of them before. But they were on a label that was going to be very important to me and the new music that I was discovering throughout 89 and 90 and onwards. And that was Rhythm King. Rhythm King was a sub-label to Mute Records here in the UK, and they had great artists on that one, like Bomb the Bass, S-Express, Beatmasters, Betty Boo, Baby Ford, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Yeah, so, but this, I think this is where it all started with Hey DJ with Betty Boo. And this happens to be, I think, the second 12-inch. This is, as you can see, a limited edition one. So I had a different mix of Hey DJ, an EMQ mix, as it says. And I think it's a double A side kind of thing, because it got Ska Train on the other side in... what does it say? Tied to the Tracks mix, yeah. It's a really good one. It's an acid house mix of Ska Train. Absolutely my favorite version of Ska Train by the Beatmasters. And of course, the A-side, a brilliant mix, and the all around lovely Betty Boo rapping along with the Beatmasters. Great stuff here. And here on the back, by the way, you can also read how the Beatmasters claim to be the innovators, the originators of hip house back in 1987 or something like that. Yeah, I will leave that to the experts, but they did claim that. Yeah, so that was Beatmasters. And the next one in my pile here is Jimmy Somerville and You Make Me Feel Mighty Real. And that is, of course, a cover of the great Sylvester disco banger from 1977, I want to say, under the same name, of course. But at the time when I picked this one up and this one went up on the charts, I had no clue about Sylvester. It was actually a good friend of mine who said, you know, it's actually a cover of this guy called Sylvester. So that's how I got to learn more about Sylvester and discovering more of his work. But I have to say, still to this day, I believe, and it's my opinion, that Jimmy Somerville's version of You Make Me Feel is the better one. Yeah, that might be blasphemy, but yeah, it's true in my case. Great 12-inch with a mix by William Orbit, where he hits that perfect balance between the original material and all the added elements, really. He does a great job of this one. I love this 12 mix of it. And another great thing about this 12-inch is that this is one of those where you flipped it over and you got a 7-inch edit on the B-side along with the original B-side of the 7-inch as well. So the best of both worlds, really. So you didn't have to go out if you wanted the 7-inch and you wanted the 12-inch version as well. No, you can just buy this, the 12-inch single, and you get the best of both worlds. Yeah, really great. Then we go to a whole different kind of music from Belgium, electronic body music with Front 242. Yeah, so Front 242 I was familiar with before, since the 80s. Very hard-hitting electronic music. I just loved it. But I think at this point in 1989, they really reached the climax, the heights of a 242, really, in my opinion. Great era. The year before, I think it was the year before, they released Front by Front. Great album. And then in 89, they released this one, which is called Never Stop. And it's filled of tracks, filled of iterations of Never Stop. So as you can see, you got 5 tracks here on the A side, or whatever side, the 33 RPM side, and then on the 45 RPM side we get Never Stop again, version 1.1. That's actually the same version as the 4th track here. It's exactly the same running time and everything. And I'm not really sure, it's just me speculating here, but I think it's made for convenience. If you're a DJ in a club and you want to play Never Stop, and the longer version of it, or one of the longer versions of it, you don't have to search for track 4 on this side. No, just flip it over and you got the whole track there. It's just simpler, right? But yeah, I don't know. But I love it. It's great electronic body music. And I might be a bit biased because this happens to be the first year as well, or the same year, I want to say, that I saw Front 242 for the first time ever live. And that was an experience. It's there in the top 5 best concerts that I ever been to. Front 242. Great stuff. Never Stop. And then we have Ruth Joy with Don't Push It. Does anyone out there watching this remember Ruth Joy? Well, I don't think there's too many of you. It did chart, and I'm not sure how good it did chart, but I remember it was being played on MTV quite a lot. Here in Europe at least, and I loved Ruth Joy, and I actually heard her before, even if I wasn't really aware of it, on a single that came out in 1987, I believe, from Crush. It was called House Arrest, and she was the voice of that. And this time around she went solo with Don't Push It, and I think she might have had another single, at least an album was released as well, but then she disappeared. Where did she go? I have no clue. I never heard of Ruth Joy since then, and that's a shame. Great stuff here. I love her vocals. A nice dubby kind of feel to the song, produced by Curtis Mantronic, otherwise known as Mantronix, of course. And yeah, it's just great stuff, Ruth Joy. And we do get a club mix and a dub mix of Don't Push It. And on the flip side, we do get another song, Give Me Your Love, which is equally brilliant, and also a club and a dub of that one. So yeah, absolutely. If you never checked out Ruth Joy before, please do so. You will not be disappointed. I can't promise you, but I believe you won't be disappointed. Then, also a good year for Holly Johnson. Yes, the former lead singer from Frank Goes to Hollywood. They sadly split up in 1987. He went on to sign with a new label, released a solo album called Blast, which is really good. Released the first single from that one called Love Train. And then they had Americanos, and then Atomic City. And Atomic City is the one I'm holding in my hand, of course. The second 12-inch, once again, another second 12-inch. And this is the Julian Mendelssohn remix of this one. And I do appreciate the original 12-inch mix as well, the extended one. I think it's really good. But Julian Mendelssohn put that little extra into it. And yeah, it's just a great one. Great song in its original, of course. And Julian Mendelssohn just does it even better. Yeah, so he just builds onto it and makes the Holly Johnson song even better. And on the B-side here, we do get Beat the System as well, which is kind of a version of Atomic City, was also featured on the other 12-inch. But we do get an exclusive track for this 12-inch. I believe it is an exclusive because I couldn't see it on the other one. It's Atomic City Environmental Instrumental. Yeah, exactly what it says. Yeah, so really good year for Holly Johnson, and I had to include that one because it's a great song from a great album as well. And then to a very cherished tune for me. I originally only had this one on a 7-inch, but just recently, weeks ago, I found it on a 12-inch. And that is Rebel MC with Double Trouble, Street Tough. Yes. This is still featured on a playlist that I listen to commuting to and from work every week. And I never get tired of it. I loved it when it came out. I still love it. I love the beats. Got a great groove to it. Rebel MC. I mean, fast like a ninja, stings like a bee, and all that. It's just great, great stuff. Street tough. And this 12-inch has 2 great mixes on either side of it. I can't pick a favorite, really. They're equally good. It just extends, adds on to a song that was so great to begin with, and just makes it even better and longer, of course, yeah. So that's Rebel MC with Double Trouble, Street Tough.
Yes, it's the Rebel MC, rough like a ninja, stinging like a bee.
More tough, more street, all of it. Yeah, and then we'll go over to Germany and an act called Mysterious Art and Das Omen, Teil 1. It says up here, part 1 for The Omen. Yeah, I would say this is probably classified as synth pop. It's on the cusp of that new dance scene that was started to be being created, but I will still feel it leans more towards a synth poppy kind of thing. But it's very infectious, an earworm for sure. Once you heard the chorus for this one or the refrain, you won't get it out of your head for quite a while, and it's a good thing in this case, a really good one. Perfect pop song, unforgettable chorus, like I said, and a really good production. And we do get 2 versions of this one. It doesn't say what the version is called. It just says Das Omen 1. Nearly 7 minutes of it. So I'm really pleased. And then on the B-side, an instrumental of it. But yeah, great, great stuff. If you haven't checked it out, please do so immediately. Or after this video, at least. And then B-52s had a great year in 1989, and they had a new album out. Was it called Cosmic Thing or something like that? And they had hit singles with Love Shack and Shiny Happy People with R.E.M. Wasn't too fond of that one. But the one single that I was really fond of was Rome. Yes. So, of course, I bought this one, once again, originally on a 7-inch only, and then way after the fact, I found it on a 12-inch. It happens to be a US pressing, but it does have quite a lot of Rome on it. It has the extended mix, the instrumental, and the 12 remix, along with a track called Bushfire from the album that I just mentioned. And, yeah, Rome in itself, a perfect track as a 7-inch. The extended version is the one to go for on this one. It does exactly what it says on the label. It extends it. It doesn't add too much, but it's just that perfect balance, really, when you're going to do an extended mix, really. Yeah, I love it. More Rome. I couldn't be happier. Just an extension, really. B-52s. Love it. And then a big year for Prince, of course. He had the Batman album out, and I love that album. And from that album, we had a slew of singles as well, and great 12 inches of those singles. So I had a really hard time just to pick one, because, of course, I could have picked more, but I didn't really want to repeat myself with too many artists here. So, yeah, my vote fell onto The Future. This is a great song in its original, really funky, one of my favorite tracks from the Batman album or soundtrack, and made even better here. Yeah, I said it. It's even better than the original. This is a remix by Mark Moore from S-Express and William Orbit, and they made some wonderful things with this Prince track, The Future. You just have to hear it to believe it. It's one of those great, great remixes. And it doesn't stop there, because the B-side on this one is Electric Chair from the Batman album as well. Also remixed to perfection. Yeah. So there you go. Prince, The Future. Wow, love that one. And then on to another legend in the music industry, Liza Minnelli. Great year for her as well. She teamed up with the Pet Shop Boys, Julia Mendelssohn, recorded an album, and from that album we got a bunch of singles, and I think the most memorable one of those is Losing My Mind. And wow, what a great one. It's a cover of a Stephen Sondheim song, pen song, I would say, but Liza does it perfect, of course. It is Liza after all. And Pet Shop Boys producing along with Julia Mendelssohn is just bliss. I love this track so much. I've heard it over and over again over the years, never get tired of it. And this is a great 12-inch. You get an extended remix of it, and you also get Losing My Mind, the original, on the B-side. And Tonight Is Forever, which is a Pet Shop Boys song originally. I think, I talked about that in my last video about the Eurotube, where they performed Tonight Is Forever for the first and only time, I believe, live. Great Pet Shop Boys song, and Liza, of course, does it justice and then some, backed up by a whole orchestra, it sounds like. Great stuff. Liza Minnelli, Losing My Mind. And then from Losing My Mind to Digital Underground and Do What You Like. Yeah, a lot of people call this perhaps a bit of a novelty record of the time, but it's got a great production behind it, a great groove, a great rap, funny lyrics to it. It's all about, well, if you want to do this or that, well, hey, do what you like. Play it how you like, eat what you like, whatever. I love this one back in the day, and I still do. It puts a big grin on my face every time I hear it. And fittingly enough, the mix on this 12-inch single is called Play How You Like Mix. Yeah, very fittingly. And another great track is included on this one on the B-side, Hip Hop Doll, which is really good. And you also get the radio mix of Do What You Like. So, hey, there's nothing to complain about here. Still as strong as ever, I think. Do What You Like with Digital Underground. Love it. And then more rapping, and from a group that we talked about not long ago, Beatmasters, but this time around with Merlin, one of the best rappers around, at least here in the UK at the time, and they did some hip house with Who's in the House, and he's got some mean rhymes in this one, and I'm not being sarcastic. I still love this one so much. A great production from the Beatmasters, and then that witty, quick rap from Merlin as well. He was truly the master. And this, once again, is the second 12-inch of Who's in the House from the Beatmasters and Merlin. As you can see up here, it says US Remix, Limited Edition. And this time around, they utilized DJ Pierre from, the godfather, really, of Acid House, you might call him. Yeah, he went under many different aliases and group names and all that, but yeah, here they utilized him, but we don't get an Acid House remix that many people might assume, but we do get a very thought out remix of this track with a very distinct bass line. It's not that acid bass line, but it's just on the cusp. But if he just tweaked those knobs a bit, we would have an Acid House mix, but he resists. They are static, but oh boy, it swings. Oh, it's such a great track. What a remix of an already a perfect original. He takes it to another dimension, DJ Pierre. Great one from Beatmasters, Merlin, and Pierre, of course. And that one, by the way, was, of course, also on Rhythm King, and so is the next one. This is S Express and Hey Music Lover. And once again, another 12-inch or 12 inches that was issued of the same song. This happened to be the third one of Hey Music Lover, as denoted here in the middle of it. And I could actually shown any of these because I think they are great remixes. They are very diverse when it comes to the different 12 inches of this particular track. But I choose this third one because it's quite unique, quite an odd remix. It is, I am referring to the A-side, of course, called The Glass Cut, and that refers to Philip Glass. Yeah, that Philip Glass. So I wasn't too familiar with Philip Glass back in the day. I think I had a friend who informed me that he usually does, like, you know, string arrangements, cellos and things like that, quite experimental classical, new classical music, I might want to say. Yeah, so they probably asked him, said, can you do a remix? And he said, yeah, of course I can. And it's not one of those tracks that you will put on in a club. It's more or less beatless, not really, but close to. Very experimental, and I love it. It's a great one, The Glass Cut, on the first A-side, because then we have the double A-side here. On the other side, we have the Red Giant mix, and that is something that you could put on in the clubs for sure. It is remixed by the label boss of Mute Records, Daniel Miller, and he does a great job of this one. It's a very long mix, and he takes his time to build it, and then he builds some more, and then it comes to the climax at the end of it, and it's just a fantastic track of Hey Music Lover. Great 12-inch, but I do recommend the other two as well if you're a fan of the track itself from S-Express, Hey Music Lover. Good stuff. And then we have some Bananarama related stuff. Yeah, got to have some Bananarama related stuff, of course. It's after all this channel, in the form of Shakespeare's sister. Yeah, because Siobhan Fay, as we can see here, was of course a member, one of the original members of Bananarama, who decided to leave Bananarama, leave the pop behind her, the stock Aitken and Waterman produced pop, more precisely, and go more indie pop rock. And that's exactly what she did. She teamed up with Marcella Detroit, as we also can see here, or at least the back of her, and they released a great album called Sacred Heart. And from that album, I believe this was the first single, or was it Stay? I think this one was the first one. This one is Your History, of course, the Voodoo remix, and it's a remix by Mark McGuire, and it's a really good one. It does the original justice. It just extends it, tweaks it a bit. Just the right amount of tweaking going on in this remix. I love it. And another good example of a 12-inch where you get the 7 edit on the B-side, along with the original 7-inch B-side as well, Dirty Mind, live in Leningrad. So yeah, just all around great stuff from Shakespeare's sister. Thoroughly enjoyed this. Quite different from Bananarama. I was still listening a lot of Bananarama at this time, but I really enjoyed this as well. Quite left field if you think about the two camps there, the Ramas and the sisters. And then over to Germany again, and Sandra, Around My Heart. Great single from this year, 1989. And I don't think too many people in the States, for example, or even here in the UK are too familiar with Sandra. She was had quite a lot of hits in Sweden when I was growing up in the 80s, and of course in Germany as well, her native country, and in some other European countries as well. But for some reason, never too big in the UK, never big in the States either. I think if anyone recognizes her name, they think of the song Maria Magdalena that was released in 1985, which is a great one, but she had a slew of other singles that are even better than that one. I mean, that's great, and there are better ones, so you can just imagine. This is one of them, I think, Around My Heart. I mean, if you're in love with 80s pop music, that kind of sound, and put a great voice to that, you would love this. It's a great one. So you get an extended version of it, an instrumental, and then the single version. What more can we ask for? No. And all of it is produced by her then husband, whose name is Michael Cretu. I think it's pronounced Cretu or yeah, I won't try anymore. Someone correct me down in the comments. Yeah, so they worked a lot. I mean, he produced and wrote most of her songs throughout the 80s, if not all of them. And he would go on and create Enigma. You know, that group who had that hit single, was it called Sadness? I think it was. Yeah, anyhow, the voices on that Enigma album, or at least the first two albums, were Sandra's voice, actually. I don't think she was credited, but I might be wrong there as well. But yeah, it was Sandra. Great artist, and so much more than Maria Magdalena. Go and check this one out, Around My Heart. Great stuff from 1989. So that was 1989 and my 15 favorite 12-inch singles from that year. So now, of course, we're going into the 90s, more specifically 1990, and 15 favorite 12-inch singles from that year. And what better place to start than with Madonna and Justify My Love. Great single, very controversial at the time, both praised and spit upon, and the video was banned and all that. A lot of controversies, as usual, when it comes to Madonna, of course. She was used to this at the time. A single-only release, and what a great one. I love this one, and the 12-inch that I'm holding in my hand is, of course, no exception at all. A great remix of this track by no other than William Orbit. Yes, and little did we know at the time that less than 10 years from that point in time, he was going to produce a whole album for Madonna. Perhaps her best album to date, Ray of Light. Great one, yeah. But yeah, he did a couple of remixes for Madonna at the time, and this is a really good one, the William Orbit remix. And if we turn it over, we have the original, Justify My Love, by the way, produced by Lenny Kravitz, of all people. So there you go. And the second track on the B-side, Express Yourself, another great track from Madonna. And this time around in Shep's Expressing Himself remix. Yeah, I know. It's a mouthful. Try to say that 5 times in a row. Yeah, so I was really surprised by this because, of course, I listened through all of these 12-inch singles that I'm talking about today because I wanted to ensure myself that I wasn't really fooling myself and living on nostalgia that, oh, this was a great 12-inch. And then it turns out, it didn't really hold up or anything like that. So I listened through all of these ones and they all held up, of course. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking about them. But this one, Express Yourself, this particular remix, I forgot about this one. It's so good. It actually exceeds what he did on the original Express Yourself 12-inch from Madonna, because that was a Shep Pettibone mix as well. He does things even better on this one, on a B-side of Justify My Love. So yeah, 3 great tracks from this 12-inch from Madonna, Justify My Love. Great stuff. And then we go over to something that I know a lot of people back in the day and even today found their nose upon. That's not really music, is it? I'm talking about Stock Aitken and Waterman. I loved a lot of Stock Aitken and Waterman. Not all of it, because it came to a point where I was a bit fed up with the sound. But most of it, they had so many great things when it came to the Stock Aitken and Waterman production. So many different artists, from Donna Summer, of course, Kylie Minogue, and also Lonnie Gordon. Yeah, so this is another side of Stock Aitken and Waterman that a lot of people is not talking about really. More R&B tinted kind of stuff. They can do anything really, and I think if you really dig down into their discography, you will discover more than just Kylie, Mel and Kim, or Rick Astley, or these big ones. And I still love a lot of that material, but this these are the real gems where you can really feel that, yeah, they could produce anything really. So like I said, more R&B tinted stuff here with Lonnie Gordon. Great voice, and I can highly recommend the album she recorded as well at the same time. It's really good if you can get your hands on that one. This 12-inch for, I haven't even said the title yet, but perhaps you already seen it. It's Happening All Over Again. Yes, so you get 2 mixes of this one. The hip house mix, yeah, of course we get a hip house mix here because that was all the rage back then in 89, 90. Mixed by Phil Harding, great stuff there. And then on, it's a double A side, this one. So the other A side, we get the Italiano house mix. And yeah, riding on that Italo house wave as well that was going on at the time. And this one also mixed by Phil Harding and Ian Curnow. Great team of remixes. And yeah, check out Lonnie Gordon, some real different Stock Aitken and Waterman stuff. Produced stuff, I want to say. Yeah, love this one. And like I said, check out the album as well. And talking about Stock Aitken and Waterman, the next one here in the bunch of records, and this is pure coincidence, I promise you, it is Kylie. Yeah, this is the Stock Aitken and Waterman sound that a lot of people refer to when they are talking about it, either if they love it or hate it. I love this. I had bought a couple of 12-inch singles with Kylie the year before, I think, and I thought those were great. But this is the 12-inch that turned things around for me. It was a bit of a different Kylie to the other singles that I used to listen to. So yeah, this opened up a whole new world to Kylie's music, and things were starting to change, really. She started to have more of a say, I think, when it comes to the productions of her records. This is, of course, Better the Devil You Know. A great track, and we do get it in a great mix here, the Mad Marsh hair mix. And yeah, it's just great stuff. The B-side, by the way, is called I'm Over Dreaming Over You. Not one of the best Kylie tracks out there, but granted, it is a B-side. It's a bit of a filler track. When you bought this one, you bought it because you wanted to listen to Better the Devil You Know. Yeah, and that is why I choose this one. It was a turning point for me when it came to how I was listening to Kylie Minogue at the time. Great stuff. Love it still today. Yeah, and then we switch dance floors a bit here from the more popular sound to a more synth poppy sound with Depeche Mode. Yeah, World in My Eyes, of course, great single from Depeche Mode, and this is one of the 12 inches. In this case, I can't remember if it's the first or the second, or yeah, but it's one of them. I could have chosen both of them, really, because I think both of them have really good mixes. But I choose this one, not because of the A-side, really, because I think it's an okay mix. I think it's, let's see who mixed it. It's called Dub in My Eyes, and it's Francois Kevorkian, actually. He did some pretty good remixes, but I think it's okay. It is okay. But it's the B side here, or the other side of this one, that's really captured me. World in My Eyes, Mode to Joy mix. That is a keeper, for sure. And that's a remix by John Marsh. Really good stuff. He makes the best out of this remix, really. And then we have the second track, which is Happiest Girl, one of those great B-sides from Depeche Mode. This time around remixed by The Orb, more specifically Alex Patterson and Thrash from The Orb. The Pulsating Orbital mix, it says here, and it's just great stuff. So yeah, the B-side wins on this particular 12-inch, but then you have the other one as well, which does contain a KLF remix as well. That's really out there and really good, in my opinion. And I also want to point out that this one actually came with this inner bag as well. Very unusual for a 12-inch at the time. It felt very luxurious. And I also think that this particular 12-inch, and I can't remember if this one had it, because this is a German pressing of it, but I think it was this 12-inch that came with this outer plastic PVC sleeve that was like blue tinted and had these windows that were matching the pictures here on the sleeve. But yeah, I might be wrong, but I think it was. But it's no longer here. If it was ever here, it's gone nowadays, unfortunately. But I still got the record, and that's the most important thing to me. Great mixes on this one, and with an inner sleeve as well, so you can't go wrong. Okay, more electronic dance music now, this time around from 808 State with Olympic and Cubic. And this... or I won't say this, but 808 State, when I discovered them in 1990, and it must be the same year they released Excel, that album. And I heard In Your Face, anyway, that track. And I was like, wow, this is the hardest electronic music that I ever heard when it came to dance music, really. And that was probably my first connection to what would become techno music, really, in later 90s, in the coming years, rather. So yeah, I thought this was great at the time, and still do, actually. Excel, that album that I just mentioned, is just outstanding. And both Cubic and Olympic is featured on that album. And on this one, we do get some great remixes. 2 mixes, actually, of both these tracks. And yeah, by the way, this is a promotional copy from Sanctum Tum that I came over not too long ago. So this is not my original from back in the day. I only had Excel on CD, actually. But you get Cubic, the original mix, and you get the Pan Am mix as well. And for Olympic, you get a Eurobase mix and the Olympic Fluty mix. Yeah, and I think the Fluty mix on this one is very similar to the mix that we get on Excel as well. It does sounds similar to me. Yeah, but great stuff. I heard 808 State before this one with Pacific State as well, but that one wasn't that as hard hitting as the stuff they would later release, like Cubic, Olympic, and certainly In Your Face. So yeah, big opening moment for me listening to these tracks. So I had to include 808 State. Great 12-inch. And talking about great 12 inches, this next one here that I'm going to show you is, in my opinion, one of the best 12 inches ever produced. I'm talking about being remixed, the Pet Shop Boys. This is, of course, once again, the second 12-inch from this particular single, being Boring. And wow. This is something else. The first 12-inch, I really liked that one. The extended mix, or was it called the disco mix? I can't remember, but I think it was the extended mix. And then the B-side, of course, We All Feel Better in the Dark. Whew, what a track. Then this one came around. They utilized no other than Marshall Jefferson to remix this one. Yeah, the Chicago house legend. And you would think this would be some kind of a piano house kind of thing that he was doing on this one. No, he didn't go that route at all. It's very danceable. It starts out with this very firm 4x4 beat. And then he just builds on some original elements from being boring, and it just then transports us into a version of being boring that is just wonderful. It's just 7 heaven, really. He does such a great work of remixing being boring. So yeah, this is great stuff. And you would think, yeah, that's it. I'm very, very pleased. But it does continue on the B-side. We All Feel Better in the Dark. Just to begin with, that song title must be one of the best titles ever in the history of the world. I love it. We all feel better in the dark. It's so true. Well, at least for me. It's a good one. And it does come in 2 different mixes. The After Hours Climax mix and We All Feel Better in the Dark Ambient. as well. And it's Brothers in Rhythm who are providing these two remixes. And you know what? This is perfection. They've done such a great job of remixing We All Feel Better in the Dark that it's beyond perfection, really, for me. And that goes for the A side as well. And that's why I'm saying this is one of the best 12 inches ever produced, in my opinion. Yeah, at least in the top 5. There are others competing for it, but it's up there in the higher realms, really. Highly recommended listening. And then the next 12-inch, I had to include this one. This is Adamski and Killer. Yeah, it's actually Seal as well, but they don't announce it here on the front of it. But on the back, you can see, there we go. Here is his name, Seal. Yeah. Did I choose this one because it's got a great remix of Killer? No, we are presented with the original track. Might be a bit extended, I don't know. This is 5 minutes 40, something like that. But it's the normal version of Killer, and you don't have to remix Killer at all, in my opinion. It's such a good track to begin with, so well done, well produced, and then you put Seal's voice on top of that, and you got a hit single, of course, Killer. Really good stuff. I had to include this one because it's a track that I never got tired of. It's another perfect record, really. Well, at least the A side. The B side has 2 tracks. The first one called Baseline Changed My Life, which is okay-ish track. I mean, it's very much a product of its time, and you might say that of the second one as well, which is called I Dream of You. But in my opinion, it's a smidge better than the other one. It still holds up somewhat today, I think. A bit of a dreamy feel to it. Pun intended. But it is, of course, of the A-side Killer that I'm holding up this one in this video. To me, a timeless track. Perfect track, really. Killer with Adamski and Seal. And then the next one. Yes, we are going into more pop rock oriented stuff here. Big year for Belinda Carlisle as well. And what I'm now going to show you, yeah, it is a 12-inch single. Here you go. Yeah, this is Belinda Carlisle's We Want the Same Thing in a box. This is the box set, you might think. Yeah. It's a really nice presentation here with the gold foil lettering and all of that. Looks really, really nice. And I loved most of the things that Belinda released at this point in time. Really talented, great pop, of course. So I bought this one when one of my visits to London that year. And it's a bit excessive, really. I'm going to show you here. On the back, I got the original sticker here. It's a bit roughed up over the years, but it does say, limited edition includes 6 fuller color Belinda stickers. Belinda stickers, yeah. So let's open this one up. Lift the lid on it. And yeah, there you can see, there she is. And that is the 12-inch, of course, of We Want the Same Thing. Great, great tune, and we do get it in an extended summer remix on this one. It does what it should do. Just extend an already great track so we can get even more of it. No fancy, smancy kind of things going on here. It's just great extension here of this track. Love it. And a track that anyone can chant along with. Great, great stuff. The B-side, however, was somewhat disappointing. And I listened back to it, of course, like I said earlier. I listened back to all of the tracks on these 12-inch singles. And the B-side, I was like, I can't remember that one. And there's a reason for it. I probably just listened to it once when I bought this. And it's Circle in the Sand, Sandblast Multimix. And you would think, because, I mean, Circle in the Sand, great pop song. And you get a remix here, or a mix at least. But it's not really just Circle in the Sand. No, it's more like a mix between Heaven is a Place on Earth 4 reasons and some circle in the sand, but more heaven is a place on earth. I don't understand it. It does say multi-mix here, but why? You could call it Belinda Carlisle mega mix or something. Then I would have understood it, but it's really weird. But thankfully, we got the A-side to save the whole thing. And now back to the box, because you might wonder what else did it contain? It was fully loaded with things, right? Yeah, with stickers. That's all we got. So in this big box, we got the 12-inch in a really slim sleeve and a bunch of stickers. A bunch of stickers that are still here on the sheet. Yes, I never used these ones. I don't know why, but perhaps I can do that now. I mean, life is short and all that. Why should I keep these? Yeah, I should have them up for display. All the Belinda full color pictures, which is not really true because there's some black and white down here. But yeah, it doesn't matter. Great stuff anyway. I love the look of this box anyway, and to present just a 12-inch single in something like this is really lavish, and I love it, of course. We'll stay on the pop side of things of 1990, and the next one is Paula Abdul with Opposites Attract. Yeah, and probably some people watching this right now is saying, are you kidding me? No, I'm not. I love this one when it came out. It had a great, funny video to it. It's a nice, quirky pop song with a great voice to match it, of course, with Paul Abdul taking the lead. Yeah, I still love this one. It gives me a big smile on my face every time I hear it. I want to dance. And yeah, it's just great all around. To be sure. And just to point out, because I can't remember if they changed this sleeve at some point, because I think, at least in the video, it said Paula Abdul and MC Cat something, or have I dreamt that? But on this one, it doesn't say anything like that. It's just Paula Abdul with Opposites Attract. But we could read underneath the credits here that it's a duet with The Wild Pair. And The Wild Pair is, of course, the rapping and the singing, the duet partner, really, Wild Pair. But I am sure in the video, yeah, you can see the cat here, and even on the front, was featured in the video. And it was called featuring MC something. It wasn't called The Wild Pair, was it? I might be wrong. I should have researched this, but it was just something that popped into my mind now when I held this up. But yeah, great stuff here from Paul Abdul. I think it makes me so happy. So you get Opposites Attract, the street mix to begin with. Good one. And then you get the party dub as well of the same track. And then they did the right thing here. This is what they should have done with Belinda Carlisle and not fool us into thinking that we're going to listen to just Circle in the Sand remix. No, they did the Paula Abdul mega mix here, and they even lists what kind of songs we're going to listen to in this mega mix. So yeah, they did it right. Great stuff here from Paula Abdul. Or Paula Abdul? Yeah, you know what I mean. We'll stay in the pop genre here, because the next one is Kim Appleby with Don't Worry. And some of you might recognize the face, might recognize the name. Yes, this is one half of Mel and Kim. Her sister, Mel, unfortunately passed away. I think it was a little over a year before this one was released. Sadly, we lost her. But Kim went on to have a solo career, and she released a couple of singles, and I think the best one of them was this one, Don't Worry. Another earworm. As soon as you have heard that refrain once, it gets stuck in your head. It's one of those songs, I think, also, it's just my opinion, even if you haven't heard it before, it's one of those like, oh, it feels like I've heard this one, but there's something recognizable about it. And I do remember that from the first time I heard it. I was like, this sounds very familiar, but it's not a cover or anything like that. No, it's an original recording of this one. And I love this one. It does have 3 different mixes of it. The Stressed Out mix, good one. The Phil Chill mix, another good one. And the Crypt mix as well. I love them, all 3 of these. Really good stuff. It does a great work of an already great song in its original, Kim Appleby's Don't Worry. And you might think that she went with Stock Aitken and Waterman to produce this, just like with Mel and Kim, but no, she chose another route actually. So this is Pete Schweier and George DeAngelis who produced this for her, but it's as infectious, that's the word I was looking for, as the PWL stuff or the Stock Aitken and Waterman stuff, for sure. Great pop stuff. There we go. Sorry for that break. For me, it was way longer than for you. For you, just a couple of seconds. My battery died on my phone, which I'm filming with. But hey, we're back. And I only have a handful of 12 inches left to present here. And the next one out from 1990 is Erasure, Blue Savannah. Probably, or no, not probably, it is my favorite Erasure song ever. I love this one. Straight from the album Wild, which was out at the time, and yeah, it's just simply a stunning track. And I believe this one was released in 3 different 12 inches with a Deutsche mix or whatever they were called. I had one of those at some point, but I wasn't really fond of those mixes. I prefer this one. Just a simple kind of an extension of Blue Savannah. Not too much tweaking going on, just a bit more Blue Savannah. And I'm very content with that. I think it's Gareth Jones and Mark Saunders who's behind the mixing on this one. A really great one. And then on the B-side you get Run Around on the Underground and No GDM as well. So 3 great tracks from Erasure there. Vince Clarke and Andy Bell in top form. Then we go to my beloved Nitzareb. Yes, at this point in time in 1990, they had released the album Showtime, where Getting Closer was one of the outstanding tracks for that one. So of course I had to buy the 12-inch singles as well. This happens to be US pressing. Not sure why I went for the US pressing, but I suspect, and I should have looked this up, the mixes are different on this one compared to the one we got in the UK. But yeah, what a great one. The trance mix, the pool mix, the kitchen mix, and the kitchen dub. Yes, all by people that I am not really familiar with name-wise. It's Tony Garcia and Paul Kendall who did the remixes for this one. So if anyone who's watching this are more informed than me, please let me know down in the comments. But yeah, Nitzareb, love them ever since I heard the album That Total Age. That was probably back in 1987, I would suspect. And it was such a revelation for me the first time I heard them. It was aggressive, it was hard-hitting electronic music without compromise, really. And I still remember to this day the first time I heard Murderers by Nitzareb, and when they screamed out, "Where is the youth?" They were calling for us. It was our punk moment in time, really. It was the rebellion that we needed at the time. And of course, they moved on from that sound. It was still as hard and gritty when it came to Showtime, for example, but they continue to evolve all the time, and that's why I appreciate Nitzareb so much. No compromise, really. That is the lead word for Nitzareb. And I also want to say I was really shocked by the passing of Douglas McCarthy, you would say the lead singer of Nitzareb, not long ago. Yeah, I was really shocked. I was planning to do some kind of a tribute video, but I couldn't muster any energy for that at all. I was still, and I'm still in shock, really. It's so sad. He wasn't even 60, so way too young, and we miss him. What a talent. Okay, the next one, a group that I'm very fond of still today, the KLF and What Time Is Love. Well, there's a lot to say about What Time Is Love, so I won't be lengthy here, but this was not the first iteration in 1990 of What Time Is Love. We heard... we have to go way back to the Pure Trance releases as well. But yeah, that's a story for another episode. But at the time in 1990, they did remix What Time Is Love, and it became a chart hit for KLF. And along with that, they released a couple of 12 inches as well. And I do believe, and this is a thread throughout this video, this is a second 12-inch, I believe. So this one contains Moody Boys versus a KLF, a mix of What Time Is Love, a bit more dubby affair, where they switched out some of the sounds for the lead synth, for example, and it's a very nice mix, really. But what's really worth getting this 12-inch is for Echo and the Bunnymen mix. Yeah, that starts off the B-side on this one. And it's not, and I don't have proof of this. I'm not that well versed when it comes to all the nitty-gritty details of the KLF. But this sounds like Echo and the Bunnymen went into the studio and performed What Time Is Love, basically. It doesn't sound like the Echo and the Bunnymen sat down in front of the mix console and did a remix of it. No, it actually sounds like Echo and the Bunnymen were performing this one. And it's outstandingly good. Mix in some guitars with all the electronica. I think they didn't use a drummer initially, at least, Echo and the Bunnymen. They had a drum machine, right? I'm not wrong in thinking that. And so they were not afraid of mixing up analog digital tools like synthesizers and drum machines and like that. So this is right up their alley. And of course there is a connection with the guys in KLF and Echo and the Bunnymen. But hey, story for another episode. And then we also get the virtual reality mix of this one to round the whole thing off. A slow down version basically of What Time Is Love. But all three mixes are outstanding, and especially that Echo and the Bunnymen mix of What Time Is Love. Great stuff. More great stuff. All of these things are of course great, otherwise I wouldn't have chosen them. Wendy and Lisa, of course. Great year for them as well, with a great album out called Eroica, and from that one we got Rainbow Lake. Yes. And if you don't know who Wendy and Lisa is, well, let me tell you. Remember the Revolution? Prince, Purple Rain, Around the World in a Day, Parade. Yeah, that was Prince's band, Revolution. And Wendy on rhythm guitar, Lisa on keyboards. They were part of that. And when the Revolution dissolved or whatever happened to them, Wendy and Lisa decided to, hey, let's record music on our own as Wendy and Lisa. So that's what they did. And it's very akin of some of the tracks that you might hear on some of those Prince albums that I just mentioned. And I don't think it's a case, and this is just my theory, it's not a case where they were influenced by Prince. I think they always carried this unique sound, really, and it just bled through on some of the tracks on the Prince production. I mean, it's not impossible, but that's just my theory, because they don't seem like the kind of people who would rip off a sound or something like that. No, but hey, I could be wrong. But it's wonderful stuff. Rainbow Lake, just a great one. And we do get a version on the B-side called No Voices. Obviously, instrumental, of course. And let's see who remixed this one, because I can't remember, really. Yeah, it's the Psychedelic TP. Yeah, you know those famous remixes, Psychedelic TP. Now, I'm not sure. I never heard of them before. And I'm sure it could be either Wendy or Lisa, both of them, or someone in the band, perhaps someone they knew. I have to look it up. And if I already did, well, I'm editing it. Let's put it in down here. Who it is, the Psychedelic TP. Whoever it is, they did a great job. It's a fantastic remix of Rainbow Lake. They took some original elements, spun them around, and made the whole thing work in a whole different way than the original. And that's the way you do a proper remix. Don't mess too much with the original formula, but still twist it a bit and make it just perfect. That perfect balance, really. Yeah, that's what this is. And now I only have one more 12-inch single to present to you. I saved the best for last, or one of the best. Betty Boo doing the do, of course. And as I said before, the thread throughout this video has been the second 12-inch, the third 12-inch, and so forth and so on. I didn't plan it, but this also happens to be the second 12-inch of doing the do, called Remix. Yes, and I love this one. This is my favorite version of Doing the Do. I appreciate the original. It's very catchy and all of that. But at the time when it came out, I heard it so many times, I got a bit fed up on it, to be honest. But then this one came into my hands, and this is something quite different. So we got the Great Bass Robbery mix on this one, and it works so well. They stripped it down, it's very minimal. They basically just kept the bass line, drums, and of course the voice of Betty herself. And it works so well. It's much more left field, more aimed to the clubs, of course, at the time. And if this one was to be released as the single version, it wouldn't have climbed the charts at the time. I just have to be honest, but I love it. It works so well. It's a breath of fresh air. At the time it was, and it still is actually, when I listen back to it, it's like, oh yeah, it's so good. But I haven't come to the best part of this one, which is the B-side called Shame. The song Shame in an Hoodlum mix, of course. And what a mix that is of Shame. I love it. It's so good. Very much the bass-driven song as well, or a mix. And they complement each other so well. It's up there with one of the best 12 inches ever, really, along with that Pet Shop Boys, of course, as well. Yeah, so good stuff. A nice way to round off this special with my 30 favorite records or 12-inch singles from 89 to and 1990. Yeah, this actually has been a real pleasure going through all of this and just leading up to it. Which one am I going to pick, and listening through all these singles again, because some of them I haven't heard for years, to be honest, and they held up so well. Yeah, it's just been a blast. So a huge thank you to Jen, my dear friend over at Jen's Addiction, for pushing me to do this episode, and Rob Walker, of course, as well, for initiating this thread kind of thing for the vinyl community. I'm really pleased that this was my first vinyl community reach out of sorts. Yeah, I had a blast, really. And I hope you had a blast too, hearing me talking about all these fantastic 12-inch singles. And you know what? If you have a YouTube channel, why don't you also do a response to this from Rob Walker's video? I would love to see even more people talking about the 12 inches in their collection, and just make up a topic, or just pick your favorite ones, no matter the year. I would love to hear it. And if you don't have a YouTube channel, why don't you put some comments down in the comments field here and make your own top 10 or your top 30 or whatever. Let's talk about everything maxi singles, or 12-inch singles as they are called in other places. Yeah, love it. Yes, so I will be back soon. I promise you, with some more music extravaganza. And until then, I hope you all take care of yourself. And as usual, I bid you adieu.